sit here?" the one-legged girl asked the single dad. His answer left her in tears. The autumn sun filtered through the golden leaves of Central Park, casting dancing shadows on the weathered bench where Marcus sat with his daughter Emma. It was one of those perfect October afternoons, when the air held just enough warmth to make you forget that winter was coming. Marcus watched Emma chase pigeons across the grass, her small feet stomping with determination as the birds scattered and regrouped. At 4 years old, she found endless entertainment in the simplest things. He smiled, though the weight in his chest never quite lifted. It had been 2 years since his wife Sarah passed away from cancer, and some days felt easier than others. Today was one of the easier ones. Emma ran back to him, breathless and laughing. "Daddy, did you see?" "I almost caught one." "I saw, sweetheart." "You were so close," Marcus said, pulling her onto his lap. She nestled against his plaid shirt, her small fingers tracing the pattern of checks while she caught her breath. That's when Marcus noticed the young woman approaching. She was in her mid-20s, wearing a denim jacket over a simple white shirt and jeans, but what caught his attention was the way she walked, her gait slightly uneven. As she drew closer, he saw the prosthetic leg extending from her left knee down. She stopped a few feet from the bench, her dark eyes uncertain. There was something vulnerable in the way she stood there, as if gathering courage for something simple. Marcus had seen that look before in the mirror, during those first months after Sarah died, when even grocery shopping felt like climbing a mountain. "Excuse me," she said softly, her voice barely audible above the distant sounds of the city. "Would it be all right if I sat here?" All the other benches seemed to be taken. Marcus glanced around. She was right. The beautiful weather had drawn everyone outdoors. But that wasn't why she was asking. He could see it in her eyes. She was asking permission because she'd been turned away before. She was asking because she'd learned that her presence made some people uncomfortable. She was asking because the world had taught her to apologize for taking up space. Emma looked up at the young woman with open curiosity. Children have a way of seeing people that adults have forgotten. They see the whole person, not the differences. Marcus shifted over and patted the bench beside him. "Of course. Please sit down. There's plenty of room." The young woman's shoulders visibly relaxed. "Thank you," she said, sitting down carefully. "I'm Lily, Marcus, and this little one is Emma." Emma waved shyly, then whispered loudly to her father, "Daddy, her leg is different." Marcus felt his face flush, but Lily laughed. It was a genuine sound, warm and unforced. "You're very observant, Emma." "Yes, my leg is different. I lost part of it in an accident when I was not much older than you." Emma's eyes widened. "Did it hurt?" "Emma," Marcus said gently, but Lily shook her head. "It's okay. Yes, it hurt a lot at first, but I've had it for a long time now, so I'm used to it. Sometimes I even forget it's not my real leg." Emma seemed to consider this seriously. Then she slid off her father's lap and stood in front of Lily. "Can I see?" "Emma, that's not polite," Marcus interjected, mortified, but Lily was smiling. "It's all right, really. I'd rather answer questions than have people stare and say nothing." She pulled up her jeans slightly, revealing the prosthetic more clearly. "See? It's made of special materials that make it strong." Emma reached out tentatively, then looked at Lily for permission. When Lily nodded, Emma touched it gently. "It's smooth," she said with wonder. "It is, though it doesn't feel anything when you touch it. That's the strange part. I can feel with my other leg when I step on something, but this one doesn't tell me anything." "That must be hard," Emma said with the simple empathy of childhood. Lily's eyes glistened slightly. "Sometimes it is. But you know what? We all have hard things. The important part is that we don't let them stop us from living." Marcus found himself studying Lily's face. There was a depth there, a hard-won wisdom that came from suffering and surviving. He recognized it because he saw the same thing in his own reflection. "If you don't mind my asking," Marcus said, "what brings you to the park today?" Lily looked out across the grass, watching the pigeons that Emma had been chasing. "I come here when I need to remember why I keep going." "Does that make sense?" Marcus nodded slowly. "More than you know." She turned to look at him, and something passed between them. An understanding. A recognition of shared pain. "I lost my wife 2 years ago," Marcus found himself saying. He rarely spoke about it with strangers, but something about Lily made it feel safe. "Cancer. Emma was only 2. Some days I come here and watch her play, and I think about how Sarah would have loved seeing this. How she should be here instead of me. Lily was quiet for a moment. I lost my fiancé in the same accident that took my leg. We were in a car crash. A drunk driver. Her voice was steady, but Marcus could hear the old grief beneath it. For a long time I thought I should have died too. I couldn't understand why I survived if it meant losing both him and part of myself. Emma had gone back to watching the pigeons, giving the adults space for their conversation. The park hummed with life around them, but on their bench, there was a bubble of shared understanding. What changed? Marcus asked. A little girl, actually. About Emma's age. I was at a coffee shop feeling sorry for myself, probably looking as miserable as I felt, and this little girl came up to me and asked why I was sad. Her mother was horrified, tried to pull her away, but the girl insisted. So I told her I was sad because I'd lost someone I loved. And do you know what she said? Marcus shook his head. She said, but you're still here. That means you can still have happy days. Such a simple thing. A child's logic. But it broke something open in me. I realized I'd been so focused on what I lost that I couldn't see what I still had. The chance to live. To find joy again. To maybe help someone else who was struggling. Marcus felt a lump forming in his throat. That's beautiful. It is, but it's also really hard, Lily admitted. There are still days when getting out of bed feels impossible. When I look at couples walking, hand in hand, and I want to scream. At the unfairness of it all. When my leg aches where it shouldn't be able to ache, because it's not even there anymore. Phantom pain, Marcus said. Exactly. Phantom pain for a phantom limb and a phantom life. The one I was supposed to have. They sat in silence for a moment, watching Emma, who had found a stick and was drawing patterns in the dirt. Can I tell you something? Lily said. When I walked up and asked if I could sit here, I was testing something. Testing myself, really. I've been turned away from benches before. People who suddenly remember they're saving the spot for someone. People who can't hide their discomfort. I've learned to read the hesitation in people's eyes. That split second where they decide whether they can stand to sit next to someone who's different. Marcus felt anger rise in his chest. That's terrible. It is, but it's also human, I suppose. People don't know how to act around disability. It makes them think about their own vulnerability, their own mortality. She looked at him with those deep, knowing eyes. But you didn't hesitate. You just moved over and made space, like it was the most natural thing in the world. It should be the most natural thing in the world, Marcus said. Should be, but isn't always. Lily smiled sadly. Your wife, she must have been a good person, to have raised a daughter like Emma, and to have loved a man like you. Now Marcus felt tears threatening. She was the best person I ever knew. Kind to everyone. She used to say that the measure of a person wasn't in what they achieved, but in how they treated people who could do nothing for them in return. She sounds wonderful. She was, and I miss her every single day. But I have Emma, and she needs me to be whole. Or as whole as I can manage. Lily nodded. That's what we do, isn't it? We wake up each day and we manage. We put one foot in front of the other. Or in my case, one foot and one prosthetic. She smiled at her own dark humor. And we find these small moments, like sitting on a bench in the sunshine, watching a beautiful child play, talking to someone who understands. Emma ran back to them, clutching a handful of leaves. Look, Daddy, I found the prettiest ones. Marcus examined each leaf seriously, praising their colors and shapes. Emma then turned to Lily and offered her one. This one is for you. It's yellow like sunshine. Lily took the leaf with trembling hands. Thank you, Emma. This is the nicest gift anyone has given me in a long time. You're welcome. You seem sad sometimes when you talk. But leaves make everything better. Out of the mouths of babes, Marcus thought. Sometimes children understood the most important things better than any adult. Emma, you're absolutely right, Lily said, clutching the leaf carefully. Leaves do make everything better. They sat together for another hour, talking about small things and big things. Lily told them about her work at a nonprofit that helped accident survivors adjust to life with disabilities. Marcus talked about his job as an accountant and his struggles with single parenthood. Emma played nearby, occasionally running back to share a discovery or climb onto her father's lap. As the sun began to sink lower and the autumn air grew cooler, Lily stood up. I should get going, but thank you, both of you. You've given me something precious today. What's that? Marcus asked, standing as well. Hope. Proof that there are still kind people in the world. People who see past the surface to what matters, and she looked down at Emma, and the reminder that children see the world as it should be. With curiosity instead of judgment. With acceptance instead of fear. Emma hugged Lily's legs without hesitation. Will we see you again? Lily looked at Marcus, a question in her eyes. We're here most Saturdays, Marcus said. Weather permitting. If you'd like to join us, you'd be very welcome. Lily's eyes filled with tears. I'd like that very much. As they exchanged phone numbers, Marcus realized something had shifted in him. The weight he'd been carrying felt a little lighter. The loneliness a little less consuming. He wasn't looking for romance or even friendship necessarily, but he'd found connection, understanding, someone who knew what it meant to lose everything and still have to keep living. Over the following weeks, Lily became a regular part of their Saturday routine. She and Marcus talked about their losses and their hopes. Emma adored her, asking questions about everything, from the prosthetic leg to Lily's favorite ice cream flavor. Slowly, carefully, they built something between them, not to replace what they'd lost, but to honor it by choosing to live fully despite their scars. One Saturday, as they sat on their usual bench, Emma between them, Lily turned to Marcus. Do you remember that first day? When I asked if I could sit here. I do. I was testing whether I was ready to try again, to put myself out there, to risk being rejected, and you made space for me. Such a simple thing. But it changed everything. Marcus took her hand, natural as breathing. You made space for us too, for our grief, for our healing. You showed us that life after loss is still life, still worth living. Emma looked up at them. Are you still sad sometimes? Yes, they said together. But happy too? Emma asked. Yes, they said again. Happy too. And it was true. The pain didn't disappear. The losses didn't unmake themselves. But sitting there on that bench, with autumn leaves falling around them like golden rain, they understood something profound. Life wasn't about avoiding pain or pretending loss hadn't happened. It was about making space for each other, about choosing kindness, about saying yes when someone asks if they can sit down. It was about being brave enough to keep your heart open even after it's been shattered. As the sun set over the park, painting the sky in shades of amber and rose, 3 people sat together on a bench. A single father, a little girl, and a young woman with a prosthetic leg. 3 people who had every reason to give up, choosing instead to hold on, to each other, to hope, to the possibility that tomorrow might be a little bit easier than today. And in that moment, on that bench, in that park, they were exactly where they needed to be. If this story touched your heart, please take a moment to like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment below, telling us about a time when someone showed you unexpected kindness. Your stories matter, and sharing them helps spread hope to others who might need it today.